Hello, welcome back. I'm Melanie and this is Mel's Stampin' Gallery. We are working our way through the sketches in the Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog. We are using the sketches, the scrapbook sketches that are here on page 28. Last month we did this one, the first one, so we are on the second sketch this month. As you know, if you've been following along, the third Friday of the month, Erin and I and the rest of some of the other members of her crafty design team work our way through the scrapbook sketches in the Stampin' Up! Catalog. I bring this sketch in again for you to take a look at. Let me hold it up. First glance, it looks pretty simple, right? You've got a couple of pictures here, and maybe one down here. To my mind, that looked like two 3x3s and a 4x6 and some sort of a banner or a title. A little bit of journaling over here, maybe a date or subtitle over there. All right, so that's almost for me too simple. All right. So I actually kind of struggled with this a little bit, but let me show you what I have decided to do. As you can see, I've got a few 12 by 12 papers here on my desk. I've got this kind of polka dotty pattern, and this was actually from American Crafts. I think it's called, the pattern was called crepe paper maybe. And I've got, this is kind of looks like Bluebird maybe from Close to My Heart, or Balmy Blue from from Stampin' Up. I'm not real familiar with the colors yet. And then I've got a couple of different pinks here. Now, the pictures I've decided to use are these pictures of my youngest granddaughter. I was up there recently, got to spend the day with her and spend the night for babysitting, and one of the things she loves to do when she's outside is use her bubble machine to blow bubbles, and she just absolutely loves her bubble machine. So I thought I'd use these 4 pictures, and this is going to be just a single page layout as it was in the catalog. So let me bring in my Versamat, and instead of starting on a piece of white willow like I normally do, I'm going to be building with the patterned piece of paper as my base, but I think I want to make it a frame style layout. And so I'm going to use this blue, I think, to give it kind of a definition, just a very, very tiny, thin border. And then I think I'm going to use, this was Bubble Bath. Not sure if I like the light color, or do I like it on the dark side, the true side? I think I kind of like that. But then I also had this pink. This might be pretty in pink. That one's a little darker. I think I might like the darker one. Since this pink doesn't match exactly, I tend to like to go to a little bit of a darker color if I can't get the one to match exactly. So like I said, I'm going to build a little frame style layout. Just a thin little sliver of the blue around there, I think. And I think what that does is kind of bring all these colors together. All right, so like in the sketch, we basically had a couple of photos up here and this photo down here and a title across the middle. And as I often do, I turned to my Cricut to make a title, and I came up with Bubble Magic. And I think I will have to look up the name of the font because I know somebody is going to ask, but I think it was called Pink Bubble. I will definitely look that up for you, and I will put a link to that down below in Design Space. But I think I actually downloaded it from DaFont first of all, and then I was able to cut it out on my Cricut. And then I also made a little bubble wand from my Cricut as well, and I just took a circle and a rounded rectangle for that. All right, so I think that's kind of the layout I'm going with. I'm going to cut this all down and get this adhered, and I'll be right back. I do not have it adhered down yet, but I did cut it down to size, my base paper down to size, but let's bring in the photos and see how they're going to look on this paper before I get them adhered down. And I do like them on the background of that paper. Okay, and then our title. And I'm going to go ahead and I will be creating a video about how I actually created this layout on my Cricut design space, and I will have that hopefully up next week for you, so you can kind of see my creative process a little bit. I do use Creative Design Space on my Cricut Design Space quite a lot to help me design my layouts. Before I adhere this down, I wanted to go ahead and sponge the edges of this pattern paper, and I'm going to use my Pretty in Pink. I think that's what I'm going to use. If it's too light, I'll get out a darker color and use that. I do use these little bags, Ziploc bags, to keep the different dome top sponges in. I try to keep them separate for each of the colors. All right, so let's slide this off of here, and we're going to go ahead and start sponging. And then to sponge the edges, I'm just going to show you a little bit of this because I did get some questions about how to sponge the edges of my pattern paper when I was at my last scrapbook retreat. And yeah, I like the way that pink is showing up really well. So I just dab into my ink pad and just take the sponge and kind of feather it over the sides. That's one way to do it. There's several different ways that you can sponge the edges of your cardstock, believe it or not, but this is the way that I do most often. So I will go ahead and finish that up, and then I will be right back with it all adhered down. Now you can see I have the edges all sponged, and I do like the way that that sets that pattern paper apart from that thin blue frame around there. But one more thing before I got it all adhered down, I decided to add a little bit of shimmer and shine, because what's a bubble layout without some shimmer and shine? So I am using my Close to My Heart shimmer brush, which of course the Close to My Heart brushes are no longer available, but you can find shimmer brushes online, and we also have, Stampin' Up! Has the Wink of Stella brush, but I wanted a little bit of color, so I'm using the Close to My Heart Ballerina. And actually I think there are some shimmer brushes I found on scrapbook.com, and I can go ahead and link those for you down below. But as you saw, I squeezed out a little puddle of the shimmer on my acrylic block, and I'm just going to tap it on my pattern paper here. And of course, the wetter I get it, maybe the bigger the drips are. And I've also noticed if I tap closer to the tip, see I'm getting some of those bigger drops, and I kind of want that because I want to be able to see them. So let's get a little bit more over here. I want to make sure I'm going to the edges, because don't forget I'm going to have my pictures in the center here, and you won't really see that. I think I want a little bit more bigger ones over here. There we go. There, now I'll just clean this up and I'll be right back. Let's go ahead, now that we've got everything sponged and splattered and adhered down, let's put the title about where I want it. I want it about like this. I'm trying to be mindful to not cover up her little shoes there. And I might spread this out just a little bit, give it a little space. And I also wanted to show you what I did in the design space as well. I wanted to bring in, I was trying to recreate these bubbles. I just wasn't having any luck doing like a mixed media. But guess what I found in Cricut Design Space? I just typed in the word bubble, and these basic print and cut stickers came up. And this white border I'm going to cut away when I get ready to put them down, but I thought these were perfect. So I think I'm going to put these on here. Let's see, we'll go under there a little bit. Might even have this one kind of like she's reaching for that big bubble. Then I have a couple more bubbles over here to put in this upper right hand corner, and just some different size bubbles to put around the page. Here's a small one. And then also, like I said, I made the bubble wand with, this is just a couple of circles, and then this was a rounded corner rectangle, I think, and I just put those two shapes together and then used my weld feature to weld them together. So those are going to go in, it's going to go in here somehow, maybe like that. All right, and we've got some more bubbles to put in around here, kind of like that. So let me go ahead and tear all that down. I'll be right back, and I think I'm going to put the title up on dimensionals. Just a few little finishing touches. I went ahead and I wanted to print my journaling. I thought about doing it on a clear label, but I decided to do it on vellum just because it kind of gives it a nice softness to the page. So if you've seen my videos before, you know that a lot of times I take and I do my journaling in a text box. Open up the notes program. Is it notes? Or the word processing program on my iPad. So you can use any word processing program that you have. And I just measure the space where I want to put my journaling and type out my journaling. And sometimes I'll cut it in strips, or sometimes I'll put it on a clear label, or sometimes, like now, I decided to put it on some vellum. So I'm just going to scoot that under there, and you notice that I did a little tear. What I think I'm going to do then, let's take the tweezers and let's just put a little thin bead of the Barely Art glue along the top where it will be sliding under the picture, so you won't see that glue. The glue dries clear anyway, but then you definitely won't see the glue. So I'll just scoot that up a little bit here. Let me get my spatula, my Cricut spatula. That will help me lift this up a little bit. Slide that under there. There we go. Okay, so that's on there. I've got this little sticker that I found. And then for a few little finishing touches, I have these black paperboard shapes that were in my stash. These were from Close to My Heart, and I like the little dragonfly. Over here there was a heart. Okay, and let's see, here's a tiny little heart. If I can get it. There it is. And we'll put that right down there. And to attach that, we will use, again, some of our Barely Art glue. After filming, I did come back and add some sparkle and shine to the clusters around the page. And if you come back next month, you can see the additions that I made, because I will be doing a companion page for this layout using the next sketch in the series. Also, if you are enjoying this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and be sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss another one of my crafty videos. I wanted to add a little extra sparkle, so I had these dots from the Silver Bells collection from Close to My Heart, and they kind of reminded me of bubbles. So let's see, let's put some of these around the page. Put a little one down here. I had so much fun with Addison. She just really, really loves, number one, to be outdoors, and her bubble machine, she just absolutely loves. So it's electric, well, like battery operated, and she just pushes a button and it just spins and turns and all these bubbles come flying out. And at one point she took the bubble machine and she pointed it right toward her face so that they would blow right on her. And she just squealed with delight. She just thought that that was amazing. So I wrote, Addison absolutely adores her bubble machine. The moment it starts, her eyes light up and the giggles begin. She chases the bubbles like it's the most magical thing in the world, laughing as they swirl and pop all around her. It's pure joy, simple, sweet, and unforgettable. All right, so let me hold this up for you so you can see it. We have the little sparkle there, and the little embellishment corners, and of course the title. So I wanted to ask you, please, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a video. All supplies that I used will be listed down below in that description box. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye.